couple of shots of light there. Shalom Havarim. And I'm here because I was asked by our sister Erica Geese if I would share with her some of the things that I do in OBS. Most particularly, she wanted to know how to put the scriptures up and scrolling on the screen, and the way to do that and highlight it so that she can share from the scriptures herself. And Erica, of course, is a bright girl, but it is difficult to explain to anybody how to do that except if you show them how to do it. And so I thought I would do a tutorial on this and try to teach not only her, but any of you others out there that would like to learn how to do this. And I don't have any reason not to share what I have studied and learned. And I'm glad to share with anybody and everybody that wants to. A lot of people won't be here because of our religion, our faith, or whatnot. They won't know what we mean if we say Yahweh. But regardless, I'm glad to share it with anybody that can use what I have come to understand and know. Well, let's get right down to it. I'm going to share my screen with you. There we go. Now you can see my screen, and what's highlighted over here on the left is the Zoom with mic, which is the scene that I was just out of, and OBS has a tendency to always put the screen that you just came from back up in the lineage of the active windows that you're using. But here's what we've got on the screen. This is the program side. That means that's the side that is active. And as you can see, everything that you're seeing on this left side over here, the left side over here, it's backwards, is exactly what you're seeing on the screen. Now, I want to explain to you about scenes and sources. Every scene is an individual scene. Like, for example, my countdown screen. This is a scene that I use for counting down to the live stream on Tuesday nights at 7. So everything that I have here is and need here is just a media source. And this is a media source. If you double click on the media source, it looks to see where the file is, if it's a local file or if it's a file from the internet. This is a local file that I have recorded here in my computer, and I can browse and use different files that are in place anywhere on my computer. Okay, and I'll close that. Anyway, it's easy to set this up and set up the media source that you want for this particular scene. Now we will choose the Zoom with mic, which is the first scene that you saw me in. It simply has my webcam, which you can see there. If I cut this off, I disappear. And if I click this again, ta-da, I'm here again. Okay. I have a waterfall background, which you're not seeing on this side, but it will turn into a waterfall background if I go to the transition. When I transition, it loads the waterfall background, which is one of my favorites. It looks like this. Okay, so now you see, but now in order to continue showing you everything that I need to show you, I have to transition back to the share screen. That's what we're in right now. Now, the Zoom with mic has another image in it, and this image, if I go over here and click this lock button and unlock it, it will highlight the image. And of course, this is the background image that I've set there. And then you've got these files, the woo and the clapping and the laughing and the cock and fire and the thunder. All of those are available when there's a transition. If I transition, then I can use all of these that are available. Now, let me just go ahead and transition and show you. Okay. That is a common sequence that I use on a regular basis, and Alan had some common sequences too, and I learned those from them and actually kind of copied some of those, but I really enjoyed it, and I enjoy it now so much. I'm just a kid, you know, in an old man's suit. Okay, the main scene. I would mention that on these media sounds and effects is that if you want to use these in multiple scenes, instead of creating them again in another scene, you need to copy and paste. I would copy this, for example, copy. And then I'm going to go to a scene that doesn't have it, like this one, which is the countdown scene. I don't need any of those in the countdown scene, but I'm just going to show you I can paste it there if I wanted to. And of course I can select the woo down up there, and I can use this to navigate and to delete, to remove. It says remove the woo. And yes, I do want to remove the woo because I don't need it on that scene. Okay, let's go to the main scene where we have first and foremost the webcam, and that can be cut off or on any particular time that I need to get my face out of there so I can put something else up in there. But normally I keep that locked, because if I don't have it locked, watch what can happen. Whoops, I jumped right out of there, didn't I? And sometimes it's hard to get it to stick exactly in the right place. Okay, that's close enough for government work. Okay, so that's why I keep it locked, because that way if I go up here, it don't pop out and move. Image 4, this is certainly just a sequencing thing. Image 4, if I click here, will show you that that is my scrolling text. This is only the front of the text. The background of the text is not included, so this can overlay another background, and naturally the background that is behind it, which I have put over this entire background. Okay, and we have next, I'll lock that one, window capture 2. Okay, that would be the window capture, which you cannot see, but will be right here when we bring it up on the screen. I purposely have not brought it onto the computer because I want you to see what I do to do that. And in order to show you, I will need to go to the share screen. So I will share screen to transition over so that you can see what I'm transitioning. Notice I have my microphone and it is active. If I cut it off, you won't be able to hear me speak. That's what I said. But anyway, I'll go back and look at the main screen, but I can still show you because I'm sharing the screen still. I've not transitioned into my screen, so you can actually see what I'm sharing on the computer. Now, I will need to bring this down. I'll just not minimize it completely, but just put it in a smaller box so that I can still show you the things I need to show you. I will go over here and open my file, which is my file from OpenOffice 4.1.7. That's what I have. And it's the same as Word, only OpenOffice It's Apache. OpenOffice is free, and it does virtually everything that Word does. It's just that they don't charge you for it. You can give donations, and if I have extra and I could give donations, I would definitely give to a place like this because they do good work. All right, we've got the main scene here, so I will go ahead and click on this and open it. This is First Shemuel. This is a preview of what's coming up Tuesday night. I'm here in this, and I can actually highlight the text. This is just a word processor. That's all that it is. And I will show you how I get that into the image. If I can get back to this. Go to the main scene, and we go to window capture. What I'm going to do on this is I'm going to double click, left click, double left click, and that opens the properties. I didn't look up here and cheat. Properties for the window capture 2. And it can be window capture 1. You can rename it to scripture capture if you want to. But all you're doing is you're accessing this window that I've got up on the screen for First Shemuel chapter 16, etc. If you look in this as soffice.bin, it's binary, First Shemuel 16 through 20 ODT, that's the Open Office writer that I've got. So that's the window that it is looking for from the beginning. The capture method is merely a Windows graphics capture. I've got Windows 10 and the 1.903 or whatever it is. And then you've got match title. Otherwise, find window of same type. So it will find windows of this same type. If it cannot match the title, it will look for the same type of window. So if I were to go up here and let's see, I need to change that, cut that off for the moment, and I will take off the First Shemuel. Now, if I click on a different Open Office document, it will have the tendency to replace that with what I had with First Shemuel. Now you can see that I've got the Hebrew blessing, and that's what is on the screen now. And if I had, while that Hebrew blessing was on, if I had gone ahead and clicked on First Shemuel again, it would not have made a difference. It would have continued displaying the Hebrew blessing. But if I delete that, or I bring that screen down and close it, and then I hit First Shemuel again, it's going to replace it right back in the place where it was. And if I transition, of course, you're seeing it on both sides of the screen now, and you're seeing the reversion of what was over here, because it's going to naturally swap out the previous screen with the screen that's becoming active, which is the screen over here. It became active. All right, now let's go back to the main scene. Well, actually, I need to go to the share screen, transition into the share screen, so that I can show you more about the main scene. I'm clicking on main screen, show you, first and foremost, I have a webcam here. I need to actually maximize, because this is important for you to be able to see what I'm doing in OBS. Okay, I'll maximize this so that I can show you when I click on the main screen. I have the webcam, which I'm using. That's my webcam, and the properties of the webcam are like this. I'll show you. This may be confusing to some, but I am using ChromaCam, which is something that aids my webcam and attaches to my webcam. So I'm not showing just my webcam, but I'm showing my webcam, which is the Logitech HD webcam, which would be like that, and you would just see a blank background behind me because that's what there is behind me. It's a blank background. And if I reach back far enough, I can actually touch the background. But by using ChromaCam, and ChromaCam is free, but I chose the upgraded version because ChromaCam upgrade does not put watermarks in your videos. So I'm using the ChromaCam upgrade with my Logitech HD webcam C615, which, if any of you know, excuse me, sudden attack there. Any of you that know, this is a good webcam, but it's not really a great camera. That's why my picture on screen is not as good as it could be. But the camera that I'm wanting to buy is expensive, so I cannot afford to buy that yet, but I'll be willing. Sometime in the future, I'll be able to afford it. Okay, but I go back to ChromaCam, and then it removes the background. That's what I want. I want something that removes the background. And I can do that with green screen or what is behind me, black screen. But ChromaCam does such a good job of it, and sometimes a better job than a poor green screen. If you're using green screens, lighting has to be perfect. I mean, it's literally got to be nearly perfect. And otherwise, you have a lot of cleanup to do on your own. And sometimes it's just not effective. Okay, there's other things that you can look on here. I do not want to get into the details of all that, but this is enough for now, just for you to know the basic parameters of that. Now let's go back to our main scene, which I've got selected. Look at the image 4. Later capture 2, that's going to be closed. Okay, image 4 is this one right here. And that's just a scrolling text. And I have got, I'm using only the face of the text with no background so that I can place it over a background that's already there. And it appears that you can see the background behind the text, and it appears that the text only is scrolling, which is neat. And I like very much. I keep these things locked so that I will not, by mistake, pull this over in front of my face. See, it stays there because it's locked. If it wasn't locked, I would be able to move it. Now, window capture 2, of course, is this window here. I can remove it by making it unviewable, and I can bring it back into view just simply by clicking on this little eye thingy. It's an eye thingy. What else do you want to call it? An icon? Oh, an icon. Okay. Well, that's silly. Anyway, I'll let you take a look also at the text GDI Plus, which has some great capabilities to it. And of course, that's the scrolling text that you're seeing here. And let's click on the properties, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm using Arial Regular, and you type in your scrolling message here. You have to work with that because it's certain lengths and amounts that you can type in, and you just have to work with that and test and try that on your own. And there's text transforms, which I'm not using any transformations. I'm just using scrolling. And how do I get the scrolling? Well, I go down here and right click, and I go to filters, and I click on filters, and I have a scroll filter. You see, you can add or subtract filters. I can add another filter if I wanted to. I could add chroma key, and I'd call it whatever I want to call it, and it would put chroma key in there. So, but I don't want chroma key. I don't need it, so I'm just going to remove it. You sure you wish to remove chroma key? Yes, I am sure. Okay, now let's go back to the scroll filter. If you are seeing on my screen that I have scrolling over here that's constant, I can change the scroll. Like if I had Hebrew written up there, I would be scrolling in the opposite direction. So let's just go down and go in the opposite direction. And then you can scroll Hebrew. Well, if you didn't want to scroll Hebrew or English, and say you had some Japanese, you could scroll that like this or like this. Japanese, Chinese, or whatever these E's. Okay, but that's not quite right. I'll go back and center that because we don't have any vertical speed, and I will put that back to where it was so that I won't come up Tuesday night and say, hey, why is my scroll not working? Anyway, let's close this and let's go on to the next thing, image 2. I'm showing you all of this so you'll get a better understanding of everything that I'm doing. And image 2 is just the image behind the scrolling text. That's the little raindrop image. I got that from actually my intro, believe it or not, the intro that Patty did for me. So I will lock that again. I don't need to move it. And this, of course, is my entire background, the background behind everything. And you have to put these in an order. They have to be sequenced so that you can see them. In other words, if I move image 2, which is I'll show you, which is the background behind my scroll. If I moved image 2 down below the other image, it's going to disappear. It's gone. And the reason it's gone is because the other background is covering it. So if I changed where the other background is gone, then you can see image 2 again. So what I have to do is I have to make sure that they're in sequence. Okay, now image 2 is back up, the background is on, and you can see the sequence is once again correct. And let's take a look at this window, the window capture window. I've noticed I've been messing around with this and doing some things, so I have noticed that that's not what I want. That's what I want, window capture. I have noticed that I have made this a little bit too long. So if you click, I'll just show you so you can see. If you click on that, left click, and you move it up, it makes all of it smaller. Side to side and up and down, it makes it smaller. If you don't want to make it smaller, you only want to move one parameter, you can hit alternate. I'm holding down alternate, and you can left click. It's not working like it's supposed to. Oh, maybe. I can't get it to actually work right now. Well, I'm making it go in and out, and I don't know exactly why. Okay, but anyway. Oh, wait. Is it? No, it's unlocked. It's unlocked, so I could actually do that. Anyway, you're supposed to be able to move individual sides, and you can work with that and mash your Alt key and work on the sides and back and forth. It doesn't matter. If I go ahead and remove this again, unlock it so it can be moved, then I've got it here. That shows you I can make the width change like that. And the height should change also, but unfortunately it's not. Maybe now it would. No, I've got something else. Well, I've hit something somewhere. And sometimes it takes me, after I hit something somewhere, it takes me an hour to figure out what it was that I hit, what button I mashed. And I have to go back through an entire sequence to find out. So there's a lot of work in this mishpachah that is unseen. And sometimes there are hours of unseen work to do just to make a simple thing like this look and work better. But anyway, we've got the scene up there. Um, in order to be able to access this screen, Erica and others, what you'll have to do is bring everything front and center. And I'm making sure that I am still showing my entire screen. Yes, if I bring this front and center, you see it front and center too. Okay. Now, when you bring it front and center, then you can highlight and scroll. So that's the active window, and you were able to capture this window, and now you can highlight and scroll on this same window. But you have to have it front and center. It's very difficult if you have something else in front of it. And let's give an example of that. You got something in front of it, you're wanting to scroll, and if ever you go over, you can't scroll anymore. So it's better to have this front and center so that you can scroll and highlight easily on the window you've chosen open. Now I'll close this window, and you see it's disappeared. Let me maximize this one again. And of course now I will go to I'm going to let you see my chat with Mike screen. You cannot see the chat because there is no chat available for this video. So there's no chat there. But if you remember last week, I actually went, because the chat was not working, I went and grabbed the chat URL from the chat pop out on the go live screen in YouTube. And I put that pop out in here. Let me go down here and click, double click. Okay. Okay, the double click on the chat, and I would have to go and get the live URL and paste it here. So you're seeing that, I hope, and good. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's pretty much everything that I have to share with you. So, like I said, I'm sharing with everybody, everybody in the world that wants to look at it, especially our mishpachah. But I'm glad to have been here with you today. I hope that helps some of you. Shalom. Habarim.